talk to Mike Breen, the voice of the Knicks. He was on the call last night. He probably couldn't sleep last night, I'm guessing, after a big win like that. The Hall of Famer, Mike Breen, on the call with the Knicks over the Hawks. Breeny, thanks for joining us. Can you put it into words how big that win was last night?
Well, they won a championship, Dano, as you said. It was so emotional, and the same thing Sunday night, game one, and obviously a lot had to do with the Knicks' performance, but there's so much more that went into it, and it's kind of hard to describe, but it was like the perfect storm. Here you have this loyal, hungry fan base that has been tortured and heartbroken time and time again, not just with no playoffs, but brutal seasons. So 8 years of going through that, that's number one. And I think just as important is the pandemic. It's kind of like the family reunion. We've all watched those videos of families who haven't seen each other for a year, and they get to see their mother or father for the first time, or their brothers, and it's so emotional. It was like the Knicks family reunion at the Garden. And right after the national anthem of game one Sunday, this powerful national anthem, one of the great stars of Hamilton sang it. And then the chants start. I was looking around the arena, and our broadcast location is in now. It's about 20 rows up. So we're in the midst of the fans, not on the court. There were people who were crying, and not just a couple. There were a lot. It was such an emotional thing because it was really the first sports gathering in New York City, which, like many cities, went through horrific times. So the emotions they got you caught up. I was emotional myself.
But to explain this to somebody, and you do games all over the NBA in every venue, but where does this atmosphere rank of the different basketball arenas that you've called games in?
Well, full disclosure, I'm probably not the most objective. I grew up in New York. I've lived in New York my whole life. I've been was a Knicks fan when I was 7 years old, captured by Clyde and Willis and DeBusschere. So I might not be the most objective, but I think in a big event, in a big game, there's no better building in sports. And again, because it has not had that. Let me put it this way. Over the last several years, there's been games in April where the Knicks are 20 games under 500. They've been eliminated from playoff consideration for a month or so. And if it's a 2-point game with 2 minutes to go, the building sounds like it's game 7 of the finals. It's crazy because of this hungry, desperate fan base that experienced years ago a great team, and they just want a team that makes them proud and makes them feel like they have a chance to win every night.
Do you remember a time when free agents decided that they didn't want to play for the Knicks? Because Durant famously said, look, I didn't consider them. Like, basically, I don't care about the legacy, of this place, but they haven't attracted that big free agent. Why do you think that is? Because
of the losing. We can talk all we want about the city and the arena, but if a team is a bad team and they have no shot at the playoffs, and in terms of their roster, it doesn't look like it's going to get better in time, players just don't want to go there. Today's young players, they just want to win. And, some of them might say, oh, I want to be on the national stage. You can be on the national stage in any team in any market in the country. And I think now it's all about winning, and the emphasis about winning championships. And that's why we're even seeing, these star players taking lesser roles so they can go to a team that's going to have a chance to advance to the playoffs and maybe win them the ring.
I did wonder the atmosphere last night, if that resonates with players now, if they see this. Like, now you're starting to see or hear what, you've heard about in previous generations here. Zion Williamson talking about New York, and it almost felt like he was flirting with the Knicks earlier this season. And I just wonder if this is a team that could get out of this first round and go to another round, and you get more of these games, this atmosphere, this environment, can that resonate with younger players in the NBA that wanting to be part of something that's special or different?
Yeah, I think it can, Dan. And last night, one of the biggest cheers of the night, in the middle of the game, they put up on the big screen a tweet from LeBron James talking about how, wow, this building's loud, the Garden is rocking. The place exploded when it saw that, because another player another player who declined to come when he had the opportunity, is talking about what a great atmosphere it is. And to me, that was always the number one priority for this regime this year, was to establish that things have changed, that now this is a good destination because you have a chance not only to play in New York, but more importantly, to play on a team that has a chance to be successful, that plays well together, that has an excellent future. And that was number one. All this extra stuff, getting into the playoffs, getting the 4th seed, maybe advancing to the second round, although we're obviously short of that right now. I think that in some ways is secondary. They have now changed the perception around the league, not just from players, but agents who have a very big say in what players go in many occasions. So I think that perception changing has been the most important thing for them.
The FU Trey Young is balding. I mean, this is the opening round game against the Hawks, Mike. It's not like the Sixers are in town, or you're playing the Nets.
Yeah, the series is tied at 1.
No,
first, and I must say again, being a New Yorker, with all that's happened over the past year and with the franchise over the past 8 years, it's very easy to get caught up into it. So I understand that. As for the chance, now it sound like the parental scolding gray-haired old man, but come on, we can be better than that. Think of something clever. Think of something funny. Even think of something hostile. But that one particular chant, F. Trae Young, over and over again, and it was not just a handful of people. It was a lot. I think we can do better than that. I was disappointed in that.
And I don't know. It looks like there's video of somebody spitting on Trae Young. Were you aware of that?
I saw the headline. I didn't see it. Wasn't aware of it until
about
a half hour ago. And that's, same thing with the Russell Westbrook. I mean, spitting and throwing popcorn are clearly two different things. But I think it's something that just has to be stopped. Westbrook is right. And it's up to the arenas and it's up to the teams to make sure if that happens, and even the fans around them to try and stop that thing right away, because it's just, it's clearly disgusting when people do stuff like that.
He's Mike Breen, Hall of Famer. By the way, congratulations on that honor.
Thank you, Dan.
How did you find out about that?
The initial time was I got an email. They tried to call me. I was on a flight, and I got an email while I was on the flight. I think it was New York to LA. So I'm reading the email, and something like that brings about so many memories of so many people that helped you. So I'm sitting on the plane, and of course now I've got tears in my eyes and they're streaming down my face. And the guy sitting next to me is looking at me like, "Oh, am I sitting next to one of these clowns?" So I wanted to tell him, "No, I'm okay," but I didn't have the heart to tell him.
You should have gotten on the loudspeaker and just said, "Look, I'm emotional. In case you're wondering, tray tables in the upright locked position, and I'm a Hall of Famer."
Yeah, I don't know if that would have worked as well, or I should just looked at him and said, "I just get emotional every time I."
When did you develop the bang? When did that come about with your signature call?
Actually, in college, when I was a student at Fordham, I broadcast the games on the college radio station, WFUB. And I didn't use it on the air. I used it when I went as a fan. When I wasn't calling the games, I was in the stands rooting on my college team. And when a Fordham player hit a big shot, I would, as a fan, scream it out. And I tried it on the air a couple of times when I was doing college radio, and I didn't like it. I didn't think it worked. So I kind of shelved it for a while. And then I started doing some TV later on, and I felt it worked better. And I liked it at the end of games when it was a big call, because I didn't feel I had the strong enough voice to override the crowd. And if you have, a single syllable word that kind of punctuates the moment, and then get out of the way and let the crowd take over, that's when I started using that on a regular basis. And I thought, it was a good time at that point of the game to use.
A bang-worthy moment. I go back to Steph Curry hit a shot at 2015 Oklahoma City from
Correct.
about 38 feet, and like it was a great exclamation point. Without taking away from the play, you added to the play by just that bang, and then it felt like How did I do, by the way?
I thought you did very well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. But,
yeah, well, sometimes when you go back and listen to it, I think, oh, who's this screaming fool? But if you love the sport, and I do, and I've loved basketball since I was a kid, you so get caught up in the emotion. And that particular play that you speak of was when he was on that incredible run. The team was like 54-5, and everything worked together. And he got hurt earlier in the game. They were down 12, and they still came back and won. It was that magic carpet ride they were on. So you get caught up in the moment sometimes.
Could you maybe give me Patrick for 3? You can give me a bang or something. I mean, is it probably unprofessional, but I thought I'd ask.
Well, do you have a basket there? Do you have a ball you can shoot? Is that possible?
I do have a hoop here, but you can assume it's going in. I mean, it's me.
You're very cocky with your game.
Yes, I am. If nobody's guarding me, I'm Trey Old.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Dan Patrick for 3, bang.
Okay, you nailed it. I love it.
That's a first quarter.
Yeah. Oh, I know, and I'm fine with that. I know. I can't wait for the fourth quarter and overtime there. How close do you think LeBron was to coming to the Knicks?
I don't think he was close at all. I know the story recently came out that he wanted, but that his wife didn't want to. Now, who knows if that's true or not? But the way I look at it, if he really wanted to come to New York, he'd be there. He would have been there. And I don't think it was. I don't think at that particular time it was even a possibility.
Yeah, I wonder about that. That if his wife didn't want to go, and she's probably saying, "All right, we've been in Cleveland, we've been in Miami, we've been back to Cleveland. Now where are we going?" And I could understand her saying, "Look, let's just pick a spot where we're going to stay, so I can raise the family here."
Yeah, it's only he knows for sure. But I didn't think, I think he was being kind to saying, okay, yeah, I thought about it. It was a possibility. I really was interested, but I don't think there was a chance they were going to get him.
We got one of your broadcast partners, Jeff Van Gundy, on the show tomorrow. Why is he so cranky?
He's actually. Well, I shouldn't say it. We haven't spoken in months. We had an argument a couple months ago. We're able to do it professionally on the air, but off the air. So if he's got something going on that makes him cranky, I'm not really certain why.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow. That was a Marv Albert answer there. That
I'll take the ultimate compliment.
Yes, that definitely a Marv Albert answer. You got Suns Lakers on Sunday. Do you have that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got Nets Celtics. You got that tomorrow night?
Yes. That'll be a hostile crowd as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it matters without Jaylen Brown there.
That's a good point. But if the Celtics don't compete, they'll spend the night booing Kyrie Irving probably.
Yeah. And then Suns Lakers, I don't know the availability of Chris Paul. When's the last time you were surprised going into a game and you're like, this team has no chance of winning this game?
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, that's the beauty of the NBA. Now, does it happen in the playoffs? Perhaps not. I thought, what I was surprised. I was really surprised at the other night, game 2, Clippers and Mavericks. All right, so Clippers lose game 1 at home. All right, that happens. But then to come back and beat them like that was a surprise, because this is a Clipper team that their whole season is geared toward getting back in the playoffs and redemption from the collapse last year. And for them to have that, it shows, number one, how there's something still not right there. And number 2, that Luka Doncic is going to be one of the all-time greats.
Well, you're a Hall of Famer, so he'll eventually join you in the Hall of Fame, I guess, Mike. Is that what you're saying? Was that a roundabout way of me? Wow, that is self-serving.
I can't wait to get on a plane now and go over the loudspeaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, just have the flight attendant just say, and we would like to let everybody know we have a Hall of Famer on the flight. He's Mike Breen. He's seated in 2A. Don't come up to him. He's crying right now. But
this. Do you get like, as you get older? I mean, Do you get more emotional as you get older?
Oh, yeah. I'm a mess.
Do you cry at commercials?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're kindred spirits.
Oh, no, it's embarrassing. Like, my son got married a couple of weeks ago. I was holding on to the back of my wife's shoulders, crying into her hair, trying to muffle the sound as my son came down. You think Dick Vermeil's an emotional mess? Like I crush him. People, I was making the wedding party cry. It's like it was just horrible, horrible. I'm heaving. You know when you cry and it's like, my son's getting married. I should be happy. I'm crying. I got 3 daughters, Mike, that I got to walk down the aisle. There's no way I can do it.
Oh, forget it. My worst one, again, was, I shouldn't say this, again, it was on a plane. And I'm trying to watch a movie. And I pick, because I remember this movie I enjoyed with my kids, Finding Nemo. This is one of the great adult movies. And as the movie is near the end, and it's this wonderful father-son relationship, I'm crying on the plane watching Finding Nemo.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that. But you're only by yourself. You're more by yourself there. I'm on display. God, I want my daughters to get married, but I don't want them to get married just because I don't want to cry.
Well, I'm proud of you, Dan.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Safe travels and good luck on the plane.
Thank you.
Bang! Bang! Curry from 38, bang! Yeah, I'll work on that. Thank you, Mike. That's the Hall of Famer, Mike Breen. He will be on the call. Nets Celtics tomorrow night, and then Suns Lakers on Sunday afternoon.